Hey everybody, I'm Queen Beatrix.
And I'm Marl Dog.
And this is our first ever Patreon Q&A. Thank you so much for submitting questions. Beekeepers, we love you so much and I hope you enjoy. So this is our first time sitting down and doing this, so we're not really sure how it's going to go. And we got a couple of amazing questions, but I thought I would supplement because there might be some things that you don't know about us. And I want to just lay some of our backstory, get some of our lore out into the ether. So it will make it more fun to ask more leading questions down the road and find out a little bit more about us if you're interested. We're also really looking forward to what your answers will be in the comments, getting to know a little bit more about you, hoping there'll be a few that you can share as well and grow this little community and learn as much as we can about each other. Yes. And I think it should be pretty fun. Are you excited?
I am excited. Let's get started.
Let's get started. Okay, Marlon, would you like to ask our first background B and Marl lore question?
Yes. So the first one we have is, where are you from?
All right. Well, so we're both Pacific Northwest kids. I'm originally from Eugene, Oregon, affectionately known as Blue Gene. It's a cool place. I do recommend visiting at least once, especially during the height of the Olympic trials for track and field. It's very exciting and it's very active, very beautiful city, kind of small. Everyone knows each other. Not a bad place to go back to call home, but yeah, that's where I'm from. Marlon, what about you?
Yeah, I was growing up, we lived in southeast Portland, Oregon, and then moved into like a suburb outside of the city there. And I grew up in a little town called Gladstone there.
Well, we're so glad you're stoned to be here. No.
It's weird because it's divided by an upper part and a lower part. The lower part is like where the Oregon Trail Museum and a bunch of that stuff is. And they share a border with Gladstone. Gladstone's only like 2 square miles or something
It's
like that.
little.
So it's very small
Yeah.
in comparison to all the other suburbs of Portland.
Yeah.
There.
So we're definitely both Oregon kids. Although now that we live in Louisville, a lot of people in Louisville, although Kentucky is kind of southern and northern at the same time, a lot of people who grew up here don't have an accent. So people who meet us sometimes assume that we live here. You will literally within the same city get somebody who has like a really intense southern accent and somebody who sounds like they're from like Oregon or Minnesota or something. It's very interesting. So we fit right in just fine. All right. I'll ask the next one. I'd love to hear, I often tell people how we met, so I'm excited to hear your retelling. So Marlon will just answer this one, but how'd we meet?
So we met when we were in college. We were attending Oregon State, and we were both food science majors.
Yes.
If I recall correctly, it was at a food and fermentation science club meeting where I was the president and had to speak on the meeting at hand, and Claire thought that I was a 16-year-old.
No, he looked really young. He really did. Look at this face. Marlon, we're in our 30s. Marlon still gets ID'd all the time, especially if he's shaved like he has today. And I thought he was cute and excited and really passionate. And I remember being like, this guy seems great, but he looks really, really young. We like have to make sure that there are no, we gotta just be careful. That's all. I just wanted to be respectful because he seemed really nice and it made me really excited to be there. But yeah, you looked hella young. I just had to check out. Everything's fine. Although technically, I am I'm slightly a cougar to you in this relationship. I'm what, a year and a half older?
Yeah.
We're the same age for like half a year or some shit. So I guess, yeah, we're just like, oh, whatever. I don't know. I don't want to do any math. That's not what this is about. Marlon, how did you come into food science? I guess that's a good question.
That was actually something I was going to say as well. Is it's funny how many people in food science actually started in some other major or some other career and are going back to school. But I actually started attending college wanting to be a chemical engineer. I spent almost 2.5 years doing that schooling and decided I didn't care for it much. There were things that I did like, but there was enough that I didn't, that I wanted to check out other options. And it was either just do straight chemistry or food science seemed to be the closest pairings. And I thought everybody has to eat, and I like talking to people, and everybody has something to talk about with food. So that was an easy win for me.
And I got into the food science department because I wanted to drop out of college and go to culinary school. And my mom said, why don't you do food science? That sounds similar. And Mom, I love you so much, but they are not that similar, which is okay because it led me down a good path to a great partner and a really cool degree which I'm very excited to have. And I do still use it in my day-to-day life, but not as much as I used to. But it does make me laugh sometimes. Because she and I both were like, oh yeah, cool. We'll just do that instead of culinary school. Sounds fun. They don't usually make you take biochemistry and organic chemistry in culinary school, just for the record. And they're very, very different career tracks, both amazing and valid with lots of cool paths to take. But if you ever get confused and think they're the same thing, they are not. So that was very exciting. But yeah, how long have we been together?
So
I was thinking about this earlier to make sure I had it right, actually.
started dating in December of 2011.
Do you remember the day we started dating?
The 27th.
Yeah. We're both as equally likely to forget. This isn't.
I knew it was right after Christmas,
Yeah.
but it could have been the 28th.
Yeah.
And I would.
That would close enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that would be almost 13 years.
13 years this Christmas.
Getting pretty
basically.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was our 7th year wedding anniversary this year in June. So we got lucky number 7 and unlucky number 13. So we'll see what happens this year. We're not, I don't know. I'm just a little stitious, not superstitious. So I think it'll be fine. It's been great. Would you like to ask the next question? Yeah.
So the next one is, what do you do for work?
What do I do for work? So currently, as of about a year and 4 months, I'm a full-time personal trainer. Like I said earlier, so I sort of use my food science and technology degree because it did have a lot of nutrition, a lot of, biochemistry, just kind of understanding of like how our body interacts with food, base like macro and micronutrients and kind of their interactions and functions. And that's actually pretty relevant when you're talking to people about food and when you're talking to people about their fitness and wellness. Food is almost always a part of the mix because everyone's got to eat and people usually like to talk about it. I'm also obviously here on Patreon, part-time content creating. That's not exactly paying the bills currently, and that's okay because as long as I'm enjoying it, which I am, I'm going to keep pursuing it and hopefully keep growing it. But yeah, for me, it's I work one-on-one or in small groups with clients at a gym that is personal trainer only. So we don't have other people just coming in to work out, which I don't mind being in spaces like that, especially as a client. But I know we have 14 trainers. So when we have 14 trainers with their 14 plus clients, if we have a few small groups, equipment goes fast. So that's why that business model is what it is. And I really, really love it. And it's making me really happy to do. And it has the disadvantages mostly are that I'm an independent contractor. So like health insurance and things like that there's nothing that I would have to pay for and take care of. But I get to choose my hours and choose who I'll work with and at what time. And I have a lot of control over my day, and which helps me a lot just because of kind of my mental health needs and when I'm most awake and functional and when I need downtime, and it's been really fun. So, Marl, what about you? What do you do for work? You still using that food science degree?
Yeah. Sure am.
Sure is.
So I actively work as a quality specialist for Ferrero, the company that makes like chocolates like Nutella and then other confectionery like Tic Tacs and things like that, Kinder products. My facility here in Louisville was actually a purchase from Kellogg's, another big company.
I love when my food science friends all name drop.
Yeah,
Kellogg's.
from Kellogg's.
You might not have heard of them. They just make breakfast cereal.
We do have like Tony the Tiger stuff around the facility.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, and the Keebler elves. But our facility makes cookies, so we make
hella
some
tons of cookies.
Keebler cookies, and then also some cookies for Girl Scouts of America. So it's a lot of cookies, and it's a interesting job. My specific role there is to help them get a quality assurance lab program up and going. So
yeah. Very technical, but also fun, and your coworkers are great. And
yep.
It's a big company, though. If you see me on stream eating pocket coffees with abandon and getting, a whole like 20 milligrams of caffeine in my system at once and flying to the moon, they're made by Ferrero, and we got them from Marlon's work. So yeah, it's a cool job. And although people do sometimes make fun of us, they're like, "Oh, he gives them the cookies and you make them run them off." No, that's not what happens. Just for the record, we only give people cookies if they want. Like because we sometimes get extra cookies and we'll share them. But only, come see me if you want to lift heavier. That's usually my jam. That's what I'm about. I'm not going to punish you for eating cookies. This is a bad thing that people think about the fitness industry. So we're gonna debunk that right I will never get mad at you for eating cookies. Cookies are delicious. So great. Well, we're both actively employed, doing pretty well. Good for us. Last year was a little touch and go on that. Anyone who's been watching streams regularly and has been touching base with us knows we had some big transitions, and that's how I ended up working where I am, and also how Marlon is where he is. So yeah, things are going good. You caught us in a good year.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a little bit fun. This one isn't quite as like factually specific, but what's one important thing you like your friends to know about you?
I've been backtracking a little bit.
Yeah.
We talked about the questions just briefly before this, and
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that a little bit before because I'm not very good at open-ended questions.
I tried to prep you a little bit. I still wanted you to be a little bit put on the spot because I think that's good for us. Just for getting honest reactions. Maybe it's mean. I don't know.
No, it's okay. I just I don't. When I look at something like that, I'm like, what's important? I don't know.
What even is important?
Yeah. I don't get it. But I would say that a funny quirk of mine that we talk about sometimes is like I will randomly hear music in the background of something and fixate on it. And then talk about the artist or group, sometimes the title or the lyrics. And then people think I'm not listening to them. But I am.
Let me recreate this scenario. I'll be saying something like, and then this person said this, and I'm not really sure how to respond. I'm having a really tough day. Other factoids that I'm trying to express, and Marlon will be like, I think this song came out in 1996. But it's true. I think that I think it kind of speaks to like how your brain, like why you're such a good scientist and chemist, and like the things that you're able to focus on. I would say none of us can actually truly multitask, right? But I think you do a good job of like kind of picking up on a lot of different pieces of information at once. And that's why I tend to be a little more snap judgment. You tend to be like, you usually can get my perspective on something right away, or I'll answer a question right away. It might not be the most correct version. Like I might later be like, oh, I have a better answer to that. But very quickly I'll be able to respond or react to a person or a situation. And Marlon's the person you want to ask about it like 4 or 5 days later because he's been thinking about all the bits and pieces and how they fit together. So I would say kind of like logic brain, impulsive reaction brain, and both have their advantages and disadvantages. But that's one of those things where you're always just kind of pulling in information in a really specific way. And I'm very action oriented. So I'm always like, do the next thing, think about the thing out loud. And you're kind of like letting everything come to you, and I'm going out and claiming it in sometimes too aggressive of ways. But I think it's a good balance.
Yeah.
And I think that is a fun fact to know about you. And I think it speaks a lot too about how your brain works and how somebody can kind of anticipate being around you. And again, they're gonna play a song in the background, you're probably gonna know it.
Maybe. Okay, how about you?
Yeah, so I kind of put this one in on purpose because I don't talk about this publicly super often. It's not, I share it when it comes up, but I think I have a little bit of, I hold back occasionally because I worry about people thinking that I'm trying to make it my entire identity, even though it is an extremely important thing to me. But I'm in recovery. I'm an alcoholic. Hi, I'm Claire, and I'm an alcoholic, and I'm just under 3.5 years sober. And the thing that I like, so I like my friends to know that about me, just because I think it's important for just smoothing over sometimes social interactions. People, I don't want to have to put someone on the spot when they offer me something and be like, oh no, I'm sorry, I don't drink. And it's actually a much easier world to be in, and be a non-drinker. Like usually people don't ask questions, but I like people to know also because it was sort of the most significant turning point in my life's story. So like after my dad passed away and I went to rehab and did inpatient, like that's the point where, you know, I didn't get sober right away after that, as COVID happened, but this is like the pivot point in my life that sends me to the road where I am right now. And really what I like my friends to know after I'm like, hey, you know, I'm a recovering alcoholic, like I also kind of like that they know that I'm a good resource if they have friends or they themselves are struggling, like that's part of why. But mostly the two big things are, no, I don't care if you drink around me, and yes, we can go to bars, like it's all good. And that's something that I kind of like to lay the ground rules out at the start, because invariably I'm a very open book and it will come up. And sometimes I've had people really be like, oh no, like I had a woman I met for the first time the other day and I mentioned it. We were at the barn and just like chatting, and she apologized for her work bag. She works for one of the big distilleries, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, girl, I don't care that you got a liquor bag. You're like, don't worry about it. Like that's not your responsibility. So I really like when people interact with me when they find out I'm in recovery, to like not feel uncomfortable. Like it's my responsibility to let you know what I need in those situations. Like I'll leave if everyone's being too drunk and annoying. Like you guys stay and have fun. Also, I'll probably hang out and make sure you all hydrate and get you a good safe ride home. Like I'll mama bear on you like crazy. But that's something I don't know. It's important to me, and it's why I am the way I am now. It's why I'm a personal trainer. And I think if you want to know a really important thing about how like perception can be deceiving, because a lot of people I've told are like, but you're doing so great and you're so high functioning. And I'm like, yes, I know, because I don't drink anymore. And if you knew me 4 years ago, it's a very, very different life and a very different person. And I think it's just a nice reminder to all of us that like we can sink really low and have really low points and we all still can rise back out of them. So I hope that in sharing that and being open with the people around me that I'm really helping humanize their experiences and anything they may have like shame or guilt around. It's like, don't fucking worry. We all got it. So, but yeah, you can drink. It's cool. Like, bring your wine to my house. I don't give a shit. I'm just not going to have any. Yeah.
Also, maybe not the best person to talk to about, like, drinking liquor or specific cocktails or whatever. She doesn't want to hear that.
So I focused my food science degree on spirits and winemaking, and I was like, and I worked in wineries and I worked in bars and was a very high-end bartender, was very good at it for a long time. Unfortunately, most of those skills, like the customer service and, you know, that adapting and working quickly and multitasking transfers really well to my current job. But my last relapse was so bad that I still, 3.5 years later, almost 3.5 years, if I watch someone take like a big shot in a movie, it still makes me feel so sick. Like when I watch people drink heavily in movies, or like if someone's like, I had this great cocktail, whatever, I'm like, it sounds bad. So I like to hear that you've had a good time, but it turns my little tummy upside down sometimes. So thank you for mentioning that. That's also important. But anyway, now we're through a little bit of the lore. Let's get on to the fun stuff. You want to ask the next one?
Yeah. Okay, so first of the fun questions. What is your current favorite video game?
My current favorite video game is my all-time favorite video game forever. I said current favorite because I think you bounce around a little bit, so this is me like accommodating you a little. But yeah, Fallout New Vegas, always easy. Yeah, done. Yeah, no more explanation needed. What about you?
That's hard because if you look at like hours played or things like that, it may not actually reflect it. But I really enjoy a lot of different types of games, and I would almost say like Stardew Valley might be one of my top tier games, even though I don't think it's even in my top 5 most played games.
We could probably do an entire Q&A that's just tier listing our like top 20 games. I would let me know if you want to see us do that, because I bet we would, and then we would have a really good time talking about it and why we put them in the order we did, or doing like a single like putting them in order ranked list. Yeah.
But I think it would probably fall back just because of and I think this is sort of similar for you with New Vegas. When the game came out, it was like a formative time for me with video games, and that's Final Fantasy X. And it was just like, I played through that game 3 times, like all the way through, trying to get as much as I could because files corrupted. It originally came out for PS2, then I got a PS3 and started a file on there. Then it came out for Switch and Steam
you
and stuff.
Don't know what we've been through.
Yeah. I still have the whatever collector's edition manual.
The manual,
whatever.
This is so funny because that's such a good answer for you, and I've seen you play it so much, and I don't think it would have been a guess if I had to pick. But that's
that was a
How many Chocobo races have I watched you try to win? So many.
That was an interesting year, though. Oh, no, that must be the year before. I was going to say, I think that's the same year that Kingdom Hearts and Vice City came out, because the two of them came out the same year. But I think that there's a character in Kingdom Hearts that's from Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
So I think it must have been the year before. But, that would have been when I was, 12 or 13, I think.
That's,
and,
right at that age, right?
Before they started really telling parents what games were that were mature. And so I got Vice City when I was a tween.
Damn it. Oh, man.
So, I think that would be my number one. But there are a lot of games that I've put more than 1,000 hours on, so.
Marlon doesn't mess around. Well, and I guess I'll just make one last note on part of why New Vegas is my favorite. It is exactly like you're saying. It's when it came into my life, and it was I had played like fuck tons of The Sims, lots of Nintendo 64. I had not considered myself a gamer until, like, that's not a label I would have put on myself until even a few years after I'd been gaming a lot with you. But I used to watch you play Fallout New Vegas on your laptop while I was like watching TV and doing homework or whatever I was doing, and my attention would always drift over to what he was playing. And so it got me right away, even before I was playing it, even before like I knew, like, I don't think Twitch was like a thing, but not as big as it is now. Like, I'd never really even watched other people play games that way, and it just, as soon as I was in, so Fallout 3 is actually the one I tried first because I wanted to keep them like canonically in order or whatever, just a release order. I know that's not really a correct statement for that, but that was my first time using a dual analog controller seriously, aside from my friend dunking on me in Halo like 5 years earlier, 10 years earlier, whenever the heck that came out. And I spent the first day, I made sure no one was home, and I spent just hours the first day being like, and getting in fights and like whipping the camera around and being very stressed. And I know I've shared this story before, but so that's really my entrance into like the fact that I can like keyboard game even semi-sufficiently now on mouse and keyboard is like incredible to me still. It did not come naturally. I learned it all late, damn it. But yeah, Final Fantasy X, Fallout New Vegas, good. Those are good choices. We'll wrap it up with these before we go to our community submitted questions. Just with are there any other fun facts you want to share about yourself? Anything that comes to mind?
No, I sort of jumped in on it before, but I enjoy music. I like playing music and listening to music and things. I know a lot of people say that. I'm really not that picky with what type of music it is, usually.
Going about it,
as long as it's, decent. That's what I'll say. But not much else for me right now.
Nice.
There is a fun fact. Oh, she stopped. While we were talking, PG was cleaning herself, and you could see her down in the little cubby.
Oh! I don't know.
That's PG.
Take my hand. No. Okay, she smelled me. Nice.
Oh, and then her eyes glowed.
Just a little demon in the box in the corner. That's fine.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. I don't know. We both really love to cook, look for cooking streams on our channel. We love our animals so much. PG, we've got 3 cats and Zeke. For any of you who don't know us very well, just a lot of you regulars will know all this stuff well and truly, but we gotta fill in the newbies, get on in here. And yeah, Marlon loves music, and I'm like a top 40s bitch. I am such a basic, like, music, obviously does interest me. Whenever I hear someone say they don't like music, I'm like, you're fucking lying, because there's so many different varieties. Music's amazing. The songs that get me really get me, but like, I listen to like the same 6 songs over and over and over again, and occasionally I'll be like, let's listen to some reggae, and then I feel distinguished and like I've made a choice to listen to like a genre. And I'm like, look, I know this one artist. Not a music person. Also, don't try to talk to me about your PC build. My brain will shut off, which is maybe not so fun, but funny to me because people always try to.
Happens with Twitch streaming.
It sure does. It's I love that you all know what you know, but that's not how my brain doesn't do that so good. I'm sure there'll be more fun facts we think of down the road, but let's head on over to our community member submitted questions. We have a couple really good ones. I'm very excited. Boothgod with some very sincere, excellent, wonderful, thought-provoking questions. Playguepals also with one that is like we probably could spend a whole hour talking about. We're gonna try to not do that. Let me switch over. Okay. From Boothgod. Yay, Boothgod! We love you. Thank you so much. What's a game, video or tabletop? So we play board games. There's some up out of view that you can't see, and we're going to Gen Con next week, so that's in our wheelhouse. So a game of all games, video or otherwise, that we each wish we could replay for the first time. And this is definitely one I want to hear from people in the comments too. Marlon, that you could replay for the first time, have that first time experience with a game. And Zeke.
That's a good question.
What about you, Zeke? What do you wish you could play for the first time? Anyway, sorry.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm trying to think. There has to be one that is like really story driven and takes a left turn. Other than like Final Fantasy X really threw me the first time I played it. There were some points that I was like actively shocked at what happened. But I don't know. Maybe like Skyrim. Like the first time playing through Skyrim was unreal because I had played.
You're awake.
Yeah, I had played Oblivion.
Yes.
I got into gaming. Well, I didn't have an Xbox or a computer that was good enough to run Morrowind when it was had come out. So Oblivion was my first Elder Scrolls game, and then when Skyrim came out, it was just above and beyond.
Yeah.
Even with bugs and all,
It's still
was
just
crazy for its time, and they've continued to try to do stuff on it. So
yeah.
I think that one was pretty neat. I will say that I think to this day I've never actually. Well,
Have you beat it?
Yeah, I beat it once, but
You've been to
another game that I have 1,000 hours easy
Yeah.
in, and having beat it once is funny. Just shows how big and open the world is. So
You're right, buddy. Yeah. I think that's a good answer. I love that. There's so many for me. I'm feeling very grateful because I'm gonna kind of get to do this. I hope if we can get it working. Sims 1 with all the add-ons, because when I was playing Sims 1, you couldn't use all the add-ons at once. There wasn't enough hard drive space on whatever I had or whatever fucking. And don't talk to me about computers. I don't know. There wasn't enough technology so that you could have all of them, because there was like. There's like the date night and the vacation and like pets and like I don't even know if I ever had all of them, because they were also like $39.95 a disc for hopefully. I mean, it's the same thing now, isn't it, with Sims 4? They're like $1 million for all these add-on DLCs, whatever you want to call them. But I love The Sims 1 so much, and so specifically. 2 and 3 and 4 also great, but 1 hits just a certain note for me. I really like to operate within like limitations in a game that I just think is made and balanced really well. I don't really remember if it is what I think, because I played it when I was young. Again, easily thousands of hours, just like obsessively playing it instead of doing my homework in high school. Like, it was really the dream. But we're hopefully going to get it running sometime in the next couple months, and I'll record it when I play it. Zeke will help. It's gonna be great. So, Skyrim, Snarf, Sims 1. Okay. This is a good one too. Thank you again from Boothgod. Thank you so much. We've got a couple from you. What's a game you wish you had the time, patience, and skill to play through, but adulting gets in the way? You got one?
no, you could go first.
Fucking Elden Ring. You know it's gonna be fucking Elden Ring. I'm not good enough at fucking any Dark Souls shit. I don't fucking have the time. It scares me. I'm busy. It seems cool. I want to be able to do it. But every time I do it, I feel really, really bad about myself. And like I'll play for like 3 or 4 hours and be like, well, this was miserable, and feel like I accomplished nothing, and I don't know anything, and I don't know where to go. And then I'll play with people, and they're like, it's easy, just kill this boss. And I'm like, easy? Do you know who you're working with? So maybe someday, I think it's on the docket with the Playguepals for, there's some Elden Ring Extra Life. There was an Extra Life milestone we hit, so I'll at least be trying it out. But yeah, easy, Elden Ring. Everyone just raves about it. It's beautiful. It looks really cool. I wish I felt a little more at home in it so that I could actually explore it and do it right. So we'll see, maybe someday.
I think for me, it's more on the like time, like the part, and maybe a little bit of the patience. But a handful of years ago, Claire actually got me Gloomhaven, the giant board game box. And we've played a small handful of rounds of it, and it looks like it would be really cool. There's tons of stuff happening in the game, and you could probably make, I don't know, a couple 100 hours campaign to play through the game. However, it takes so long to set up and break down, and having pets makes it really difficult to leave it out. So we really haven't.
No, it makes it impossible.
Yeah, impossible.
It's not fucking happening. Not in this house, at least.
So I would like to someday be able to play through some of it, or you know, something like it. It doesn't have to be that, but another like TTRPG where we're teaming up against an automated system, not necessarily like a requiring a full GM.
And the two of us could play together or with more people is really cool. So I think someday we'll have a house where there's at least a big enough room where we could have a gaming table that we can close at night. Because the cats this is their home. We just rent it from them. They allow us to be here. But like this room we close at night because it has all the, computers and all like stuff that they might like to destroy a little bit. So someday maybe we'll have a setup, but I think that's a good answer. Booth, thank you again. We got one more question from Booth, and we're going to bounce over to Playguepals and then back to Booth before we wrap up. So last question from Booth for this round. What's your favorite moment your character or party has been involved in a TTRPG? Do you have one that comes to mind? I know I do.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So when we were still playing with the Eugene Pathfinder Society, and I decided it was Pathfinder 2e, and it was still really new, and I decided to play. We were all playing kobolds.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I decided to play a bard. I always forget. I think his name is Osbert. Sometimes I think he's Ogbert. It's been a long time. I think it's Osbert Sweetscales, and Osbert got kicked out of his family because he's from a warrior tribe, and he just wants to like play his ukulele and be nice. And the first thing that the party does while we're traveling to do something is get like attacked by a bunch of wolves, and I just Hail Married tried to do a charm. I think we're like level 1, like whatever that low level like charm person or charm creature is, and rolled a natural 20. So one of the wolves became completely passive, and I was just like, oh, Osbert, I'm so proud. And it was so funny and just like perfectly, like legitimately no other way it would have happened. A 19 wouldn't have done it. It had to be a natural 20. And it just perfectly was in that moment where sweet little Osbert just sat there and played his little ukulele to give everybody a little boost. And this wolf just came up and was like, all right, you seem nice. And story-wise, it has never failed to delight me when things like that happen. Just the chance of what can occur is really what makes TTRPGs so magical. But that's my favorite. What about you?
Uh,
I would say also if you don't feel like you have one from your like a game you've played, that picking a favorite moment that we've heard in a game would count.
Yeah,
too.
well, and there was a really interesting also Pathfinder, but I think it was first edition because the rule set we were using was had the mythic levels.
Yeah.
So
okay.
there was like a 3-part thing that I got to be a part of at a con where. During the first one, you gained, I think we were like level 7 or something like that, and had to do mythic levels on top of it.
That was crazy.
And you get some really weird powers and things, but it was also beneficial. Like I remember it more because I really like the desert, like Egypt style kind of setting of Osirian, and it was there. So it was like tomb diving and dealing with undead there. And it was just wild to have like not a low-level character, a mid-level character, but that felt that powerful from basically just feeling normal to that like over these 3 things, and then like the powers going away and moving forward. You get a bunch of cool stuff to keep, but yeah. So it was a fun time.
Nice. See, you did have a good example. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to remember. Like, I don't know. That's a tough one.
I was trying to think of which con it was, but I almost wonder if it was like
the Paizo online.
Yeah, but I actually think it was Origins. They tried to do part of it online during COVID.
Yeah, something like that.
So I think it was from that. But
yeah, super cool. We love our TTRPGs. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gen Con. I'm not going to get to play very much because I'm working, but I like working. It's fun. And it'll set us up to have more people to play with going forward. Okay, we've got a question from Playguepals. Playguepals, thank you for this very unexpected question, which I think will be very thought-provoking and fun. Also looking forward to seeing what you all have to say about how you would answer this. So question from Playguepals. Everything okay, Zeke? No. We're almost done. I love you. It'll be okay. If you were trapped on a deserted island that had good soil and wildlife, what kind of shelter and life would you build? You have no tools other than what washes up on the shore, which is usually just scraps of metal and such. Nothing handy without creativity. What do you think?
I think that's hard because even if the soil's good, you have to have something to grow. So whatever is native there is what you grow for food.
Yes.
If you can. I think with my limited knowledge of mechanical engineering from my engineering days,
hey, you got some though. That's not none. Limited is not none.
Yeah, might be able to manufacture a poorly made trap.
Okay.
seen enough cartoons that show really rudimentary ones.
Yeah. Little string, pull it. With the little,
with the tree.
With the tree branch. Oh, yeah, those.
Playing it into space.
I will put the Simpsons clip in.
Ooh. Aha! Got him!
Maybe one of my top 5 favorite moments in a cartoon.
I was in Scouts when I was young,
right.
and we practiced making shelters and things. So I feel confident that I would be able to, at minimum, survive short term. But I think it's sort of up to what's there to dictate what that looks like.
Yeah. Let's assume I don't immediately just catch a weird island disease and die, because I kind of worry that's what would happen, because my immune system seems to be a little sketchy sometimes. I think my first instinct is to turn to the sea to like fish and collect like any like bivalves and stuff that I know you can just like eat raw, like oysters and getting. So I'm a little afraid of the ocean because I get caught in like one kind of spicy undertow like once or twice as like a 10-year-old, and I think you'll respect that deep blue expanse. But I think I would feel like that would be the most accessible source of safe food. So gaining confidence with that and using like spears or trying to create netting or whatever I felt like I could do. Weirdly, my other instinct is to then try to like domesticate animals so that I have company. Because I think this is my biggest fear around being on a deserted island, is that I'm just there with myself. And that sounds really exhausting. I'm looking for a friend, I'm looking for animal friend, foraging, fishing, and I don't know, maybe making paper so I could write some shit down, try to remember stories from my former life. If I pop up on a desert island, I would just, with no TV and no YouTube, I would be just like writing down things I liked and remembered so that I could feel a human connection. That would by far be the hardest thing for me. I actually, as much as people make fun of me for being the first to die in a zombie apocalypse when I catch a cold, I actually think I'm a pretty resilient person, and I would do whatever it took to stay alive, but I'd be pretty bummed out. that'd be hard. So, wow, Emily, that one made me think about a lot more stuff than I thought I would. Thank you for the question. Anything else?
Yeah, because you were saying like an animal friend or something like that. If it was somewhere that had bamboo, at least it'd be simple enough to make a little flute or something. So I think music would help me.
Yeah.
In that situation.
I love that. Yeah. Oh wow. This is one of those questions that you think is going to be just a practical survival question and really just reveals a deep-seated internal need. Did we learn more about each other in this? Yes, we definitely did. Playguepals, thank you so much. Thank you for being a beekeeper. You're the best. Okay, one more from Boothgod, and then we'll wrap up. So, this is a nice leading question to some content that you'll see in the future, and I think it's mostly directed at me because I'm a personal trainer, and I'm going to start including some fitness content as we make over our garage. But I'm really interested to kind of see if you're looking forward to anything specific about it as well. So the question from Boothgod is, with you looking to add in fitness and wellness streams into your assortment, very interested in these, yay, me too, what are some other future things you would like to regularly add into your content? And with that in mind, what are the milestones you feel you need to hit to be able to expand into these other areas? So I'm hoping to have the garage gym up and running and functional in September. It's just the end of July right now, going into August. So I'm thinking in a month. Hi, Zeke. I'm thinking in about a month, I will have enough done that I can at least start making some more content out there, if not yet streaming. I'm hoping to have a regular streaming setup out there by the end of the year. I know, Booth, you said that you would help us kind of workshop what exactly I would need so that I had a basic PC that could just handle that. Like, it doesn't need to really be able to do anything else. Just needs to be handle streaming out there. You need like a decent sized monitor so that I can read chat while I'm far back and working out and all those things, and microphone, and there's a couple other expenses I know that I'm not considering. So I'm letting that be kind of flexible. But again, by September, you'll start seeing more content both on the Queen Beatrix and my Royal Decree Wellness is my Instagram for my work. And they're cross-branded, and I'm going to start merging them more. So you'll start to see the fitness stuff bleed a little bit into the gaming stuff, and the gaming stuff will start to come over into my work a little bit because I think they're very complementary. And I know that a lot of you either currently train or work out a lot, or are interested in starting and want like a safe person to talk to, and hopefully you would consider me one of those people, or turn to me for somebody to help you find that person. So I think we're looking at this hopefully being something where probably starting with like once a month. Once we have the streaming set up, once a month I want to do a live stream like on a Sunday for several hours where I am practicing something that I'm wanting to learn, teaching you something that I know well, doing a really good workout that I then share. So you'll have, you'll know my rep and set scheme, what I was doing and why, like which muscle groups I was working on. It doesn't take me a lot of work to do that, because that's what I do for my clients already, is I plan out what we're going to do and why. And so I'm hoping that this will just be like a fun way to kind of hang out. We have some cardio equipment, so I'm already planning. I think it'll be really fun even if I'm just like kind of getting my steps in, just like walking on the treadmill. I'll toss up some like Hotel Hell reruns that we can just like chill in the gym and watch together while I cool down and chat. So I think there'll be a nice kind of just chatting crossover. And then I'm hopefully going to leave space and time in that for answering questions and doing demonstrations live on the spot. Like I do not mind derailing my workout a little bit. If someone comes in with a specific question, like I'm working on this and it hurts, what do I do? And I can be like, hey, here are a couple of ideas. Also talk to your PT, talk to your doctor, whatever it is. But as you can tell by the speed that I'm talking right now, this is something I'm really, really excited about. This is my day-to-day passion, but also it gets to be my full-blooded passion because of how happy I am also doing the gaming content and how much fun I have with all of you. Like I cannot imagine doing one without the other. So bringing them a little bit closer is really a big goal for me. As far as milestones, any little expansion in the Patreon helps fund those things to help me grow that, but also I will just keep working and building that up over time. Like we can make it work. It's just a little longer timeline when we're paying for it after our day-to-day bills without more money. Like that's the practicality of it, but that's in no way meant to pressure anybody into joining. It's just that's part of why I'm here, is that I want to like be able to fund these creative hobbies and lifestyle. And but I think it'll be fun. I'm also planning to have guests in. A couple of my coworkers have already said they would love to come on and like train me live, which will be very funny. Some of them will totally kick my ass. Also teach me something that they're really interested in and know more about than I do, which will be a whole wide range of things, and also just like come on and be fun with me. So yeah, that was a lot, but it's going to be really great. So this year, and like kind of end of 2024, coming into 2025, you're going to start to see that really taking off with any luck. But yeah, is there anything you're specifically like excited or have thoughts on?
Yeah, we in the past, with some regularity, did some cooking streams, and I think getting back to doing a couple of those a year would be really fun. I really enjoy doing them. They're a lot of work. Also, like with the current setup, having to move the whole big computer out.
That you can't see.
Yeah, the big monitor, both cameras, whatever. So having even the one for
moving that one into the kitchen. Yeah.
It would be easier once you have the one for streaming from the garage. To do that, because we have good lighting and everything. It may mean that one of the things to look forward for over the next year would be like a better camera that can make something like that, or the gym stuff especially look extra high quality. And I think that would be a really good goal.
Well, and I really love our cooking streams, and we would do more of them if it wasn't such a colossal pain in the ass, because they're really fun once they're set up. But I cannot tell you, because also if we're going to do them, I'm like, well, then let's be here for like 8 hours. If we're going to put all this shit in there, we're going to set it up, we're going to clean everything, we're going to grocery shop, we're going to like, ingredient prep and recipe prep, and we're going to do this thing, we're going to be here all day. So then it's like 10 times more exhausting. If we could just move stuff in and be like, we're meal prepping and we thought it'd be fun to share it, or we're cooking this new thing, or we have a friend over who wanted to stream with us, if it could be more casual, we would incorporate that a lot too. I like that you mentioned that. That's great.
Yeah.
I will soapbox about this shit all day. We're gonna have to be careful. All these Q&As will turn to like 10-hour fucking recordings and we get talking about food and fitness. And that's why I'm trying to create a space for it, so that I don't just bog down everything we do. But Boo, thank you so much for asking about that. I know you're a big gym junkie, so it'll be great sometime when you visit when the gym is done to train together. I'm really looking forward to it. And anybody who wants to know more, please just let me know. But this has been great. We actually went a lot longer than I thought we would, so hopefully you all don't mind. But I learned a couple things about Marlon. Did you learn some things about me? Holy shit! almost 13 years together. Still something new every day. And Zeke really helps. Yes. Beekeepers, patrons, thank you so much. I love that you're here supporting this. I'm hoping to work really hard, keep giving you lots of fun things. Please give me ideas if there are other things you'd like to hear about, game submissions. Like, yeah, bring it all to us and we'll do what we can to deliver. It might not happen tomorrow, but it'll happen over time. And I appreciate you all so much. And you're all why I'm here and why I'm doing this. And wouldn't be the same without you. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. We will see you soon. Keep beekeeping. Bye.